So many thanks, distinguished professor. Ladies and gentlemen, dear students, it's my great pleasure again to have an opportunity to discuss with you and to present the position of Croatia regarding the current situation worldwide. And basically, I want to start my presentation by mentioning few comments and few impressions regarding the forthcoming Munich Security Conference. Namely, the Munich Security Conference will take place on Friday till Sunday. And basically, this is the most prominent and distinguished conference worldwide regarding security issues, which are, from my point of view, very much related to democracy and to the current situation worldwide. I will emphasize few very important statements and few very important chapters and topics which will be tackled during the conference, and then I will try to link this with the current situation in Europe and with the current situation in Ukraine and the current situation in my country, Croatia, because Croatia is the country who just recently joined Eurozone, who just recently introduced, joined Schengen and introduced Euro in our system, and it is very much focused and anchored in all kind of Western international organizations, also very much actively participating in trying to find a peaceful solution in Ukraine. I'll start with my presentation by emphasizing something what is already and always been mentioned in Germany, the situation as a Zeitenwende, the time changings, the changings of time, which is absolutely the key word in Germany and in Europe those days. We are definitely facing some kind of a very turbulent situation in Europe, with an impact to the global peace and security. The Munich Security Conference, and I'll be so free today to emphasize and to announce what will be discussed in Munich, because from my point of view, it definitely touches upon everything what is focused to my topic. The Munich Security Conference issued a report, the Munich Security Report 2023, with a very interesting name, Revision. What does it mean, revision? And what will be discussed in Munich on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, with the participation on basically of all of the countries, plus, for example, China. The key motto, the key topic of the conference will be a kind of a warning of liberal democracy in terms of the current situation versus the recent tendency to have autocracy and the revisions of autocracies worldwide. We are all facing a kind of a challenge for our countries to revise global order, because the current global order is facing huge difficulties and huge challenges. Croatia, my country, and most of the countries who are making a kind of a very strong alliance toward help to Ukraine is very much, from the principal point of view, supporting what is, from our point of view, key international order and key international document, and this is the UN Charter's principle, the UN Charter. We think that by the Russia aggression to Ukraine, we are facing a huge violation of the key principles of UN Charter. This is the reason why my country is very much focusing on multilateralism. We are trying to, together with some other partners in Europe and worldwide, to cooperate based on the international UN Charter, based on key vital principles of multilateralism, because from our point of view, this is the only way how to preserve the international order. At the same time, I think the key motto of the conference will be attention to change the international order in order to be acceptable for all of the countries, again, based on the UN Charter. And then we are coming to the point. The point is that the Western democracies, whatever it means, they need to be much more assertive and open for so-called global South. We have to understand the fears, we have to understand the needs from the countries in Asia, in Africa, in South America, to communicate with those countries, to present why is the principal support to Ukraine such an important issue for countries in another part of so-called global South. We are seeing now that the so-called adaptation of liberal international order based on rule-based order is very important in order to support and strengthen democratic resilience as a kind of a very important challenge towards the systematic rivals, which we are seeing these days with some countries who are trying to make the revision of the global order based on autocracy. From my point of view, from the point of Croatian partners in the EU and in NATO, we are seeing nowadays a very hard and strong distinction between democracies, the liberal democracies, and autocracies. Everything is basically based on the least limitation of those two key principles. And this is what we'll discuss on the Munich Security Conference. For example, my Prime Minister, Foreign Minister, Defense Minister, they're all coming to Munich to discuss this issue, to see whether we can widen our strategic partnership with the countries in so-called global South. I think it's from the vital importance to see whether within the UN framework we can extend our cooperation in order to persuade our partners in Africa, in South America, in Asia, to persuade for the basic principles of the liberal democracy. This is the rule of law, this is the preservation of the borders, international borders, and this is the way how Croatia is approaching the other partners. Maybe our Western partners and Europe and NATO, although I can tell you that since the beginning of the war, since 24th of February 2022, we never had such a kind of unity between the partners in European Union and some other partners out of the European Union, transatlantic partners, as nowadays. So this is kind of an important issue. We got to show unity, which is not easy, because all of the countries who are the members of the EU, all of the countries who are the members of the transatlantic alliance have their own interests and have their own relationship with some other countries. This is a very complicated exercise. For my country, Croatia, it's a policy based on making a compromise. It is not easy, definitely not easy. We have to protect our national interests, present this to our domestic population, and at the same time make a compromising solution with some other partners. This is 27 countries plus the other countries who are belonging to G7, because this is not only about Europe and North America, it's about Pacific, it's about Australia, it's about Japan, it's about South Africa, South Korea. This is a very important exercise, and I think that from the current point of view, we are all aware of the fact that we need to have a joint vision. We need to show to some other countries who are running autocracy nowadays that at the very end, the liberal democracy based on international order will prevail. We are facing today's division not only from the political point of view, not only from geographical point of view, but also division is basically very much and strong in line or tempting the human rights. We have different interpretation of human rights. We have different interpretation of combination of collective rights and individual rights. Some countries are, especially in countries who are very much based on autocracy, are very much in favor to make preferably collective rights or to support collective rights in comparison with individual rights. Our role of the Croatia is to present that individual rights are definitely extremely important. We see the division also on some other very important economical goals. We see the division regarding democracy versus autocracy when it comes to the climate changes, when it comes to the food production, when it comes to the health, and when it comes to the energy systems. So those are a very huge issues for my country, Croatia, to make, first of all, independency in energy supply, to make a balance in this regard, especially in the Western Balkans and in Central Europe. And therefore, Croatia set up, together with our partners, LNG terminal on the island Krk, in order to support diversification of gas supply, energy supply for the countries in Western Balkans who are very much exposed, and for the countries in Central Europe. Again, we are trying to find the European solutions, because we have already shown that once we are together, like in the COVID crisis, the European Union found a solution. Just compare the current situation in Europe with some other countries. At the very beginning, China was very much very much successful. But nowadays they are facing huge difficulties, because from our point of view, the constitutional system, the system of rule of law, and the liberal democracy is always a kind of a compass who will show us the way much better than in the countries who are basically choosing for another option. Another huge challenge nowadays, which is very much in focus of Europe and worldwide, is definitely the situation with nuclear capacities and nuclear threat. Not only Russia, of course, the Russian position and some statements from Russia politicians, they are totally unacceptable and, from our point of view, irresponsible. Totally a huge violation of everything we have tried since 1945. To make a system which will definitely very much being based on transparency in investing and using nuclear capacities. There are some other countries like Iran, like North Korea, who are definitely threatening and making a huge threat for the general global concept of nuclear order. So I could say nuclear order. Also, the countries in global south are facing those issues because they are very much depending on with the kind of a nuclear facilities and nuclear technology on those countries who were mentioned by my side. Those issues are definitely the big challenge for Croatia and for the European countries, but we have to understand that we are now definitely facing a turning point. Either we'll go direction preservation of our basic principles of human rights, rule of law, democracy, or there will be some other solutions which are, from my point of view, totally unacceptable for my country and for the vast majority of countries who are sharing our attitudes. But at the same time, my country and some other countries, they need to make definitely the new approach toward partners in Africa, partners in South America and Asia, reach out those countries who have huge difficulties and problems in terms of food, in terms of climate changes, in terms of the lack of energy, and to be the partners. Therefore, I think that we do not have another option, but definitely insisting on democracy and multilateralism. Maybe we have certain positions, different positions regarding the current situation. All of you who are sitting in this room about democracy, human rights, etc. But I think that we do share position and opinion that we are standing on the turning point. Now, this is the critical decade ahead of us. This is the critical decade in which we will try to make sustainable, successful global order. The global order need to be approachable by all the countries, and we have to say that war is unacceptable in the 21st century. So the revision of the liberal order is a challenge for us. It's an option on which we have to work together, and from my point of view, this is the only way how to be resilient in a current situation. This is the reason why Croatia is supporting Ukraine. How do we support Ukraine nowadays, Croatia? Basically, Croatia in the 90s faced a brutal war, and we managed to make the peaceful reintegration of Eastern Slavonia based on the UN principles, and this was, from our point of view, the best UN mission ever. We'll try to offer to our friends in Ukraine the same experience, how to reintegrate your country, Donbas and Crimea, through peace, to the peaceful solution without war. We have this kind of experience, and we'll offer our Ukrainian friends, as well as demining, as well as reconciliation, and as well as rehabilitation of people. In 30 years, it was in 90s, and nowadays Croatia, after 30 years, is in Euro, in Schengen, in Eurozone, also preparing ourselves for OECD membership, and this is a very strong message. By making reforms, you can achieve those goals. We can offer and we will offer this to the Western Balkan countries because Croatia has this expertise, and we are very much in favor to see European progress and European perspective for the countries in Western Balkans, but also for the other candidates. We managed to have this to reach this very strong decision to offer Ukraine the candidate status, to offer this to Moldova, and to offer this to Bosnia and Herzegovina. I think it's quite important in my country, from the principal point of view, we'll do everything to support countries on the way to the European Union, because the European Union, we should not forget it, is the peaceful project. It is the peace project which started after the wars. And could you imagine nowadays the relationship between Germany and France? The brutal war during the decades is now over. They are communicating and they are having joint governmental sessions, and they are two pillars and motors of the European Union. So it is possible. I think it's a very strong message. And this is what we are willing to offer to our neighboring countries, and to see also Western Balkans on the same way. Enlargement process is extremely important, and we will definitely stick to this goal from the principal point of view. I will end my presentation by quoting the legendary British war leader Winston Churchill, and I will quote him. "No one pretends that democracy is perfect or all wise. Indeed, it has been said that democracy is the worst form of government, except for all those other forms that have been tried from time to time." So I'm now ready to answer your questions, and I hope that some tangible, long-standing solution for the current brutal Russia aggression in Ukraine will be found in the nearby future. Many thanks.
I thank the Ambassador of the Republic of Croatia for having presented to us the challenges as they are seen and handled by your country. And it is very important and encouraging for me, as you told us, Mr. Ambassador, that Croatia is offering to Ukraine a way forward in the sense of a peaceful settlement. of the conflict and of the problems in the eastern regions on the basis of the experience of your own country. The floor is open for your questions. Please.
First of all, I have two questions. One about Russia. I'm from Iran, and here and there we hear different voices about why this war started. One of the theories that is actually United States, let's say, started this war against Nord Stream 2 contract, because they believed that the European money was going to Russia, and this was against the US interests. So some believe that this war is actually to protect US interests, not the global order or the global democratic standards and norms. This is the first question, and I want to know your comment about this. And the second one is, I'm not of the same side with the Iranian government, so I'm just
Okay.
I'm just sharing them. I have already escaped them. Okay. Yeah. The second one is about this standard, these global norms that we have, that we are fighting for. This democratic principles, I mean. Iraqi Kurdistan, as you may know, they held the referendum of independence. Referendum is one of the very symbols of democracy. The Americans and the West overall were kind of against this. They said it's not being held in a proper time. Then the Iraqi Kurdistan president said, okay, give us a time. Let us set a time for it. They did not offer any schedule. So they held the referendum, and the result was that the central government attacked them. And even before, I remember an interesting saying. Before that referendum, they said, why Catalonia is allowed to hold a referendum to get out of the paradise of Spain, why we are not allowed to hold a referendum to get out the hell of Iraq. Okay, so I mean, these things, the main point I want to here actually, let's say, point out is that I think these global order principles, these democratic principles that we are fighting for, are kind of being abused by superpowers. And their own interests are always prioritized over the real human values that we are fighting for. I would like to hear a comment about this.
There are some extremely hard questions from your side. I'll stick with one answer, because we can debate about this issue, not only you and me and then this whole audience, for a week or for a month. My question, my point is, are we sticking with the international principles or UN Charter or not? Are we violating international peace? Are we entering the border of the other countries? Are we incurred our troops into some other territories? This is this red line. We can have 100 referendums. The referendums need to be in line, from my point of view, with domestic rules and regulation, but also with some international arrangements like the Venice Commission from the European Council, etc. But when it comes to Russia, it is a brutal aggression. So I cannot appease such a kind of steps. To attack some country, to change the border, it is unacceptable. This is this red line. The international community, the Western side, the French side, the German side, within the Minsk Normandic format, tried since many years. Angela Merkel was totally engaged in this issue. Some other countries to make the peaceful solution for Donbass, and we were very patient. Somebody is saying too patient. But the end of the day, remember what was happening by the end of the year 2021, beginning 2022. There were all of the leaders from Germany, from my country, Croatia. My foreign minister was in Moscow in January 2022 in order to persuade Lavrov to avoid this kind of situation. I think that the position of Russia is to change the global order and to make some new rules from the security point of view, but it will be unacceptable. We will stand behind Ukrainian people, because by defending Ukraine, we are defending our way of living, and this is this very important issue. Russia is violating international law and key principle of the international law, UN Charter. So this is my answer. And we are not debating, from my point of view, or calculating in this issue. No, yeah, please.
I thank Ambassador Bakota for his presentation and for having addressed that really crucial issue. Unfortunately, there is not more time now to discuss this, but I hope that we have a chance at some later stage to discuss the real problem also of the double standards internationally that are always related to power politics. Thank you.
Many thanks.
Excellency Bakota.
It's my pleasure.